Sorry I am late, but welcome to Believers Talk. My name is Joe. Better late than never, as they say, guys. I look forward to talking to you all in a little bit here, getting online, and hopefully the stream obviously works better than it did yesterday during the game. But I appreciate you guys who stuck with me, whether it be here on YouTube or over on Sportscast, where again, hashtag sports and Believers Talk giving you the best 2019 game by game, play by play, and game reaction to every single Buffalo Bills game this season. That includes next week as hashtag sports. Mario and Paul will be giving you the Eagles game. I'm sure that they will have a good time. They will be enjoying it, but I want to let everyone get in here soon so we could talk about the post game between our Buffalo Bills and the Miami Dolphins. That's right, the Buffalo Bills going to 5-1 on the season as they beat the Miami Dolphins. Not the way that Bills fans would have liked to see it, but we get the job done anyway, and that's the most important thing here, guys. Getting the job done, and we'll talk about that. We'll talk about the Buffalo Bills and how important it is they just won this game. And at the beginning of the first half, I'll say a lot of Bills fans were thinking, "Man, this is the same old Bills team, right?" Well, they pull it out and get that W. And again, that W is the most important thing. So again, welcome to Believers Talk. Welcome, Evil Crazy. Welcome to Believers Talk. Not much going on. Again, late. I know I'm late tonight. I do apologize for that. Normally try to get on during halftime of Monday Night Football. Just missed out today. But let's be honest, guys. Who wants to watch that game right now? Anyhow, last I saw was 24-0. The Patriots are just dominating the New York, New Jersey Jets. Still 24-0 at the start of the second half, and the New England Patriots have the ball. So looks like it's going to be a boring game there. So why not join me as we talk about the Buffalo Bills being 5-1, having the second best record in the AFC behind those New England Patriots, who will play again. We'll play them again at Gillette Stadium, so we still control our own destiny. Believe it or not, we can beat them Week 16, go 15-1. I'm not sure how the playoffs will work then, actually, as far as tiebreakers in that situation. But still, a long season left to go. Currently 5-1. Again, as I always say, you try to break things up into quarters, right? First quarter we went 3-1. Second quarter we're already 2-0 with that game against the Eagles coming up. And guys, I will be there this weekend. Welcome, David. Uh, we'll take care of ourselves. Absolutely, that's what we gotta do. We gotta take care of ourselves. David Pelota, thank you for joining me. And again, guys, if you haven't already subscribed to Believers Talk, guys, hit that subscribe button. Because not only do we give you the live play-by-play and reaction coverage to the Buffalo Bills game, I was live with you guys yesterday. Again, had some issues over here on YouTube, but I appreciate you guys sticking with me. We go live every Monday during halftime. Again, a little late tonight of Monday Night Football to do our post-game wrap-up. We're going to wrap up this game after a day plus of celebrating the fact that the Bills got this win. Again, 5-1 this season. There are some criticisms that we should take going into the next week against the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm also live on Thursday during halftime of Thursday Night Football. I preview the game coming up for the Buffalo Bills. Now, that will change come Thanksgiving because, again, Thanksgiving we will be here giving you live play-by-play reaction to the game between the Buffalo Bills and the Dallas Cowboys, but that's a little bit of ways away. We got focused on the Philadelphia Eagles, so I'll be live this Thursday for the pregame for the game against the Philadelphia Eagles. David Pelota asks, any injuries yesterday in the game? There were a few injuries. James Williams, welcome to Believers Talk, aside for the Eagles game, because I feel like they're good competition and will for sure test Buffalo on both sides of the ball. From what I hear, some of the Eagles will be coming back in this game. They'll be getting a little healthier. We know the Eagles have been suffering through some injuries. Unfortunately, won't get Deshaun Jackson back quite yet. That's probably the biggest injury, right? That's the one that everyone's talking about. Any injuries besides our confidence. Hey, if you're a Buffalo Bills player, you gotta say the right things and do the right things. I tweeted it out earlier, guys. If you're not following me on Twitter, link in the description below. I tweeted out earlier. It's never easy to win the NFL, right? Winning a game in the NFL, all we hear about is it's not easy to do, no matter who the competition is. Well, we won another game, and again, 2-0 so far in this quarter. If you're breaking the season up in quarters, 2-0 this far. 2 more home games on the slate too. We have 3 home games back to back to back, so we stay home. So hopefully, Philly maybe might feel a little dejected after the loss last night to the Dallas Cowboys. They have two options basically. Come in with that must-win mentality, and if they do that, it's very dangerous for the Buffalo Bills. I think the Eagles might actually win in that scenario. Or they come out feeling dejected, feeling like they don't have a chance to win this division, and Dallas is just better than them, and they don't have time to refocus their energy on our Buffalo Bills. And then we might be able to get away with the win. As James Williams said, yes, I think the Eagles and the Bills are well matched against each other, and I think this might be a good game. Again, I'm looking forward to it. I will be there. I'll be there this weekend. First, I'll be at the Legends and Stars event with Paul from #Sports on Saturday at Batavia Downs Casino or something. Yeah, whatever it's called. We'll be there hanging out, getting some autographs, and doing our thing. We have a lot of people scheduled to be there, so I look forward to meeting some of the fans and just having a good time with Paul there at Batavia hanging out. So again, join us there if you can on Saturday, and then I'll be at the game Sunday. Not sure what the tailgate situation will be like, but I plan to be there a little bit earlier so that way I can again meet some of you guys. If you are going to be at the game, let me know where you're sitting. I'll let you know where I'm sitting. That way, if you want to meet up with me, hang out, just say hey. I always appreciate meeting the fans. And then I'll also be posting on my phone during the game, maybe even call in tomorrow and Paul as they do the play-by-play reaction to the game. Maybe at halftime, check in, just see how the game's going. Because again, I'll be so excited to be there that I might not be watching the same way that I normally would. I will be taping the game here at home. Again, I plan to rewatch the game as I always do. That's why my post games are on these Monday nights instead of right after the game. So first, as David Pelota asks, he wants to know if there are any injuries. So let's get into that first before we get into my positives and negatives from yesterday's game. As far as the injuries go, nothing of a serious note. You saw Duke Williams go down during the game. He caught a nice pass, nice touch ball from Josh Allen. Again, you're not used to hearing that, but Josh Allen has shown some touch this season. In 2 plays yesterday, I thought he showed very nice touch. That one pass to Isaiah McKenzie, where McKenzie acted like he was going in motion across Josh Allen, and then he came back, and then Josh Allen threw a nice touch pass to get us inside the 5-yard line. And then that nice touch pass to Duke Williams. Again, Duke Williams unfortunately goes down, stays down. They're saying that it's an elbow injury, and he's listed as day-to-day. The only other injury, I believe, was Teron Johnson, and they said that that was a stinger. So not too worried about that either. As far as Matt Milano, hey King Cam, good to see you. Always good to see you in the stream. So glad you could get off of work and then hang out with us a little bit. Starting a little bit late due to some issues on my end, but I do apologize for that. But again, the score of the Jets game is still 24-0 Patriots, so you can hang out with me for a little while. You are not going to miss anything, guys. If you're in the chat, make sure to hit that like button, hit that thumbs up button, helps out the channel, lets people know that we're here, and then share this video on whatever social media outlet you're on. Let people know that we are here talking post-game of the Buffalo Bills Miami Dolphins game yesterday afternoon. Again, the Buffalo Bills winning that game 31-21 and going to 5-1 on the season. So again, great job by the Bills. It wasn't always looking that great, I'll give you that, but man, happy to have that happen. Angry Buffalo sports fan, welcome to the chat. The Jets are getting killed, absolutely. And I was actually going to hope that the Jets could pull off this upset, because again, then we would be tied with New England. But it doesn't look like that's going to happen, and that's okay. That's okay. As was said earlier in this chat by David Pelota, we will take care of our own business week 16. And again, we will cover that game for you right here on Billievers Talk, also on Sportscaster. If you didn't listen to #sports, whether it be yesterday or today, Sportscaster changing the game. So if you haven't already joined us on Sportscaster, be sure to do that this Sunday. You'll have a nice little surprise waiting for you if you do. If you can't get on Sportscaster for whatever reason, you can hang out on YouTube as well. Mario and Paul will be here on YouTube and on Sportscaster, so you can check them out at either place. And then I'll be back the following Sunday against the Washington Redskins to give you a live play-by-play reaction at that time. So again, this week it's going to be Mario and Paul from #Sports. Next week it's going to be myself. So if you haven't already hit that subscribe button, guys, hit that subscribe button. Go over to #Sports, hit that subscribe button over there, and then like this video. Leave a comment as we're talking Buffalo Bills, Miami Dolphins post game. And normally when I start off these streams, I want to go from the good to the bad to the kind of funky, right? So we're going to start with the good in this one, guys. And I know a lot of people were not fans of that first half, but there was some good to be had in this game. You look at a 31-21 game and you say, man, what good could come after beating a team? Buffalo proving all the haters wrong, says Levo Crazy. Hey, a win's a win. And that's where I want to start off, actually. Before we get into the good and the bad, that's what I want to start off with. There has been so much hate and negativity towards the Buffalo Bills after a win. And I'm not just talking about from outside outlets. I'm talking from Bills fans, right? If you're on Twitter, if you're on social media and you're looking at the feed, everyone's talking about how, oh, the Bills haven't played anybody. Oh, the Bills don't look that good. Oh, the Bills are a bad team. We're 5-1. I feel like I'm listening and watching more bad things being said about the Buffalo Bills during a 5-1 season than I did last year when we finished 6-10. It's just crazy to me to believe that. Was there bad things that happened in yesterday's game? Absolutely. Were there things that need to be corrected? Absolutely. I'm not negating that at all. But guys, we won the game. With all the negative stuff that happened in yesterday's game, we won the game. We're 5-1. So before we get into criticizing the Buffalo Bills and acting like, they can't improve and they can't make adjustments throughout the season, let's just remember we're 5-1 and we have a clear path at this point in the season. We have a clear path to the playoffs. And where else would you rather be other than 6-0, right? We're 5-1. I think we have the easiest schedule remaining out of any team in the NFL. And we have a chance to do something we've only done once in 20 years. Let's enjoy it. Let's hope this team gets better. We can talk about the things they need to improve on. We will. I'm not blind. I get it. But at the same time, we're 5-1. So let's relax with the hate. If you're a Bills fan, support your team. And we can criticize. I'm not saying we can't do that. A good fan, I hear people say, oh, if you're a true fan, you'll just support your team no matter what. No, a true fan is able to look at what's in front of them and say, hey, we need to improve in these areas, but also able to enjoy the fact that we're winning and we're not playing great Buffalo Bills football like Coach McDermott would want to see. How can Brady and the Rats struggle while Fitz is able to do what he did? Asked David Pelota. Well, again, remember our defense was almost at full health in that Patriots game. Okay, I mean Matt Milano, and that's one thing that we'll talk about is the importance of Matt Milano to this defense. Matt Milano being out of this game was huge for the Miami Dolphins to be able to do what they did. And you know what? Not being able to get pressure on Ryan Fitzpatrick as much as we would like to also contributed to him being able to do what he did. And game plan changes, right? Your defensive game plan isn't the same for every single team. So we went in, and Leslie Frazier talked about that today. In a press conference, he talked about how the Dolphins had a good game plan for the game plan that the defense had for the Buffalo Bills. And the defensive game plan was different in this game than it was against the New England Patriots. Now, a lot of that was because of the fact we had some injuries on the defensive side still, and we weren't able to have a fully healthy squad. We'll see that against Miami in Miami, and that's another good thing about this game, guys, is since it was a little bit of a scare, the Bills aren't going to look past the Redskins. The Bills are not going to look past the Dolphins. The Bills are not going to look past Cleveland. They're going to take every game as it comes. And again, that starts this Sunday against the Philadelphia Eagles. So sometimes it's good to have a little bit of a scare against the team you're not supposed to have that scare against. But as I tweeted, guys, remember last year, week 2 in New Orleans, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, a bad Tampa Bay Buccaneers team, went in and beat the New Orleans Saints. It's the only home game they lost last season. How well did they fare? They seem to do pretty good making it to the NFC Championship game. So let's not act like a close win to a bad team ruins our season. It doesn't. It doesn't at all. We still got the win. But why was Fitzpatrick able to do it and Brady wasn't? Because the game plan was different. Because Milano was out. There are a couple factors that you have to put in there. And let's be honest, the Ja'Vari Parker is a completely different receiver. This receiving core Miami is completely different than what we're used to. And yeah, maybe we slept on them a little bit. So put all that together, and you get the Miami Dolphins getting their first 300-yard game this season against a defense that I think is still going to be stout and proved it yesterday when we needed them most. So we're all right with that. Eagles01 says you guys are gonna kill us. I mean, again, as I said earlier in the stream, first of all, welcome to Believers Talk. And again, I'm not here to hate on the Eagles. I'm actually closer to Eagles country than I am Bills country right now. But I'm not gonna hate on the Eagles having a tough season so far. It really depends what Eagles team shows up, right? Jason Peters, he's projected to be back in this game, so that means Wentz is gonna get a little bit more time. One thing the Bills have had struggles with this season is sacking the quarterback. Now, we did get a sack yesterday. We got a couple sacks the week before. Jordan Phillips doing his thing, causing mayhem in the middle. Ed Oliver finally getting his first sack of his pro career. Hey, Danny, how you doing? Welcome to Believers Talk. But again, if the Eagles show up and they're a team that knows they're hungry for a win, they're desperate for a win, they might be able to squeak one out here. If they show up and they're a little depleted and they feel a little down on themselves after the loss to the Cowboys, the Buffalo Bills can win this game. So it really depends what the Eagles' mentality is. I'm guessing that Doug Peterson is not going to be guaranteeing anything in the near future. But I think that the Eagles do stand a chance in this game, and Vegas does too. Current line is Buffalo favored by 1.5, and normally if you're the home team, that gives you 3 points. So that means Vegas has the Eagles covering at least the home field advantage part of it, possibly winning this game. But right now, the Bills favored by 1.5. Don't bet on it, says David Pelota. Eagles 0-1. Well, I'm sure the bad Eagles team will show up like they do every game. Well, and again, to your point, the Eagles are the only team to lose to the Falcons this year. The Eagles, again, didn't show up yesterday against Dallas. So, it really is going to be a struggle. But this Eagles team also beat the Green Bay Packers on Thursday night earlier this season. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Regarding the Eagles, you're right. Which Eagles team shows up is like which Fitzpatrick shows up. And with Fitzmagic, that's another part of it. You just never know what's going to happen. All right, so let's get into the positives from this game. Again, I said earlier that this defense showed up when it needed to the most, and that's late in the third quarter. Late in the third quarter after a long Miami Dolphins drive where the Buffalo Bills defense just could not get off the field. It was approaching 10 minutes, a 10-minute drive, and the Buffalo Bills had not seen the ball yet in the third quarter. Trey White with that huge interception at the 2-yard line, right? Tre'Davious White goes down in there, picks a route off, and able to intercept the ball and get the Buffalo Bills a ball. And then, of course, Josh Allen, which is the second good thing in that second half. You talk about that drive alone, a 98-yard drive. So I want to talk about how bad Dable's doing, how bad this offense looks. Guys, we've had two 98-yard drives this season. Not 98 plays. 98-yard drives this season. We had one against the New York, New Jersey Giants, and we had one yesterday against the Miami Dolphins. Those are hard to do. And it wasn't like a 1 yard or one play 50 yards of that. There was no real big chunk plays. It was long drives, both of them. And that's not easy to do in the NFL. So we have to say kudos to the offense, to the offensive coordinator for those drives, and just be able to hopefully improve on that, right? We want to see us improve. Trey White came up huge in the second half, 2 turnovers. And that's another thing I want to talk about. Trey White also with that forced fumble that Jerry Hughes recovered and returned it to the 15-yard line. And no one's talking about that return. What a great return, not only by Jerry Hughes, by his Buffalo Bills defense. Jerry Hughes is wrapped up somewhere around the 25-yard line, right? And this Bills defense just pushes him to the 15-yard line, making it easy for this offense to come back on the field and for Cole Beasley to get his first touchdown of the season for the Buffalo Bills. So great job by this defense to push Jerry Hughes and get into even better field position for the Buffalo Bills offense to take over. Singletary is still fresh, I guess, said David Polletti. And we'll talk about him in a little bit. Eagles will be up 7.5, and then we will come back and win 23-17. Again, I'm going to be at that game. I'm hoping it's a close game. We'll have a good time. I'm actually going to be with my cousin who is an Eagles fan, so we'll have a good time there in that one. But the next good thing you want to talk about is Josh Allen's second half, right? Josh Allen had one incompletion the whole second half, throws 2 touchdown passes, and he also throws for over 100 yards. He had 202 yards total, 16 for 26. Again, over 60%, which now means the Buffalo Bills are 7-0 when Josh Allen throws the ball for 60% or more in his career. 2 times last season, 5 times this season. We could talk all we want about his low completion percentage. He's kind of putting that to rest the more and more he gets to play. Does he still make some big mistakes? Absolutely. No interceptions yesterday, though. Something very key. Now, the Miami Dolphins now have Xavier Howard, which was probably their biggest threat at the cornerback position yesterday. But still, no interceptions for Josh Allen. Again, things that you can learn from, things that you can grow from. Yeah, as Daniel just said, 0 turnovers by Josh Allen yesterday. And 0 turnovers by this Buffalo Bills team, I believe. I'm trying to think if we had any fumbles or anything like that in this game. I don't think we did. I think we had a great game overall when it comes to turnovers and special teams, right? Micah Hyde. That's something I want to talk to you guys about. In the comment section, let me know what you think. Micah Hyde recovers an onside kick, right? The Dolphins have 0 timeouts at that time. He runs it in for a score to put the Buffalo Bills up 31-21. But that means we give the Dolphins the ball back. Now, nothing bad happened out of it. And 99% of the time, nothing bad is going to happen. But with 0 timeouts and about a little over a minute to go, wouldn't you rather him just get that onside kick and then kind of go down at the 20-yard line so we can just kneel it? The Dolphins don't get the ball back. Nothing stupid can happen, and we just go out of there with the win. Does a 10-point win look prettier than a 3-point win? Yes, but a win is a win in the NFL. This is different than college football. You don't need to have any type of there's no points, pretty points, or whatever you want to call them, looking pretty in a score differential type thing. We don't have a score differential tiebreaker. There's none of that. I want to get out of there with the win. And again, 99% of the time, nothing bad is going to happen there. But there's always that 1% of the time. Maybe go down at the 20-yard line, just kneel it twice, call it a game. But again, nothing bad happened, no harm, no foul. Just something I've been thinking about pretty much since it happened yesterday. I've been thinking about that, saying, hey, which would we prefer? Would we prefer for Micah Hyde to run that thing in the end zone? It was really cool to see. And talk about ups, right? He got up and got that ball. And I saw Lorenzo Alexander tweet out that he had a great block. Him and some others had some great blocks. Expect to see Micah Hyde taking them out to dinner. He said on Twitter, can't expect him to pass up an easy TD. Hard for a D player to score. Let him have a reward for his hard work. Hey, and there is that aspect of it, right? And maybe that's something he was thinking about. I did hear that he said yesterday in the post game they did look to the sideline, but didn't get any signals to go down or anything. So he just went into the end zone. And again, most of the time, it's going to be no harm, no foul, just like it was yesterday. Another good thing is we continue to see Jordan Phillips get into the backfield, keep disrupting that quarterback. Love to see that, right? We love to see a guy stepping up, and Jordan Phillips is doing that again. With Harrison Phillips out for the season with that torn ACL, needed someone to step up at defensive tackle. And maybe we can talk about both the defensive tackles here, because Ed Oliver gets his first sack on whatever that play was in the first quarter that the Dolphins tried to run, where they pitched it to the wide receiver. I'm guessing that was going to be a wide receiver pass from that formation, but the Buffalo Bills defense had it read pretty good, and Ed Oliver able to get his first sack as a player in the NFL. So congratulations to him, and hopefully that's just one of many to come. There's a tiebreaker based on points. That's why Pats run up the score if they're not going to cover it. I think the tiebreaker based on points is like the seventh or eighth tiebreaker. However, I'm not. I don't think it's high enough up there for me to be concerned about that. Hope they can sign Jordan Phillips long term. Again, I would love to see that, especially right now. I think Jordan Phillips you can get for a little cheaper at this moment than you might be able to in a few more weeks if he keeps the production up that he's doing. But you talk about re-signing players, and Mario and Paul talked about yesterday on hashtag Sports. Well, if we're talking about trade again, trade deadline a week away, a week from tomorrow on the 29th. So the trade deadline is a week away. If we're talking about getting these star players in trades, how does that affect us as far as re-signing some of these other players? I think on defense, I like our defense the way it is. I hope we don't trade or re-sign, or I mean trade for anyone so we can re-sign all these players on defense. Now Lorenzo Alexander might be retiring at the end of the season, so that might be something we need to replace. But other than that, I really like the way this defense looks. Just need to be able to get more pressure on that quarterback. Has there been any word on Duke Williams' shoulder? Hey, Rick. So the only word today was from Coach McDermott. It's day to day. It's a shoulder injury. That's all we know. They're going to keep evaluating it throughout the week. But Coach McDermott did talk about that when asked. But again, in infamous Coach McDermott style, not giving up too much information. Not only does this team want to play like the Patriots on the field, they want to add to it off the field and give as little information as possible. Again, he says it's a day-to-day injury, and they're going to just reevaluate it each day this week and see how he is doing. So that's all we've heard. Rob Foster needs to play against the Eagles to help, open up the underneath routes. I was listening to Mario and Paul yesterday during their post-game coverage, and Paul brought up a good point. Without Foster continuing to be inactive for all these games, you wonder if it's an injury or if it's now at this point more of a, excuse me, guys, more of a lack of production during practice type thing, or a lack of concentration, whatever the case might be. So you wonder if this is an injury thing or just trying to get the kid to pay attention, because again, he's been out for a few weeks now through the bye week. There hasn't really been any updates on any injuries, so at this point you have to think that the inactive tag that they're putting on him is due to poor performance somewhere else, aka practice. So you wonder if he can get back on the field for the Eagles game. That would be great. Like you said, it would kind of open up the top of this offense. Even though, again, you look at Josh Allen so far throwing the deep ball, at least throwing the deep ball on the out routes, not doing so hot so far this season. So teams might back off from guarding against that so much. We know that Josh Allen can throw the ball a country mile, but that doesn't mean he can throw it accurately. And this season so far, he hasn't been able to throw it accurately on the out routes. You see the in-seam plays, the one to Duke Williams yesterday, the nice little touch pass. He does a lot better with those. Those are 20-yard passes as well. In fact, I think there was a stat that came up yesterday saying that the Buffalo Bills are like 15th, or they're either 15th in the league with 11 20-plus yard plays, or 11th in the league with 20-plus yard plays. I forget, something like that, but they have double-digit 20 or more yard plays in this so far this season, so they're doing pretty good there. But again, most of those passes are in-seam passes, and those out routes just are not, those streak routes are just not connecting for Josh Allen. Hopefully that can improve. Points are points. If you get them, then take them. Says EO Crazy. Probably going back to why I asked about Hyde scoring a touchdown. Again, and again, 99% of the time it's not going to hurt you, but what if they get a kickoff return for a touchdown and get the next onside kick? You know what I mean? Like, those things can happen in the NFL. We always have Foster if Williams is not good to go. I hope Williams is good to go. Again, they're making it sound like it wasn't that big of a deal, but if you recall when the hamstring injury happened with Devin Singletary, they were making it sound like that wasn't that big of a deal. We're going to talk about Devin Singletary as well. As I look at the stats, Devin Singletary only had 7 carries yesterday for 26 yards. Josh Allen had 4 carries for 32 yards. Did not have a single carry in the second half. If you joined me yesterday for my live stream of the play-by-play reaction for this game, you heard how upset I was at halftime when Josh Allen, Devin Singletary, and Frank Gore all had 4 carries. Why is Josh Allen carrying the ball as much as those two other guys are in a half? And why are we only running the ball 12 times in the first half? Both of those were problems for me. I had an issue with that when you're going up against the 31st ranked run defense, and they all had decent run averages. Frank Gore was averaging over 7 yards a carry at halftime. In fact, he finished 11:55, 5 yards a carry on the nose. Josh Allen, since he didn't have a single carry in the second half, I can tell you he averaged 8 yards a carry in the first half, and Singletary went 7 for 26 for 3.7. Again, you're facing the 31st ranked run defense, and you're ranked, I think, 6th in rushing going into this game, and you only run the ball, what is that, 23 times. 23 times if you include the run by Patrick DeMarco. I personally don't think that's acceptable. You still ran the ball for over 100 yards total, but you really need to work on your game plan a little bit. Game plan better for this game. Looking at this team, knowing that they're 31st against the rush, you think you'd run the ball a little bit more. I know that if you watched the episode this morning that Paul Amaro from Hashtag Sports put out there, Paul obviously went off. I'm Brian Dable. We were waiting for that from Paul. We know that Paul does not approve of Brian Dable. I'm not going to be as hard on Brian Dable, but definitely ways to improve this offense. Again, maybe make it easier on Josh Allen. We have seen Josh Allen make some critical mistakes. Maybe you can make it a little bit easier on the kid and give him, it's pretty predictable, but at the same time, we need to make it less predictable when we're going to run the ball, make that play action an option that defenses have to be scared of. Daniel says Dable's doing a good job, and Evil Crazy says the same thing. I know, like I said, I know Paul would disagree with you. So I'm not sure if you guys have debated on their channel over there. I think he's been hot and cold. I think there's been times where he's looked pretty good, especially when you look at the fourth quarter. But there's been times where he hasn't looked good, and I would agree with Paul. Again, only running the ball 23 times yesterday against the 31st ranked rush defense. That's not acceptable. You need to run the ball more. You need to establish a run. At no point in this game was it out of hand, although it could have got out of hand if Tre'Davious White doesn't get that pick. Guys, I'm willing to say that. I know we talked about earlier. If Tre'Davious White doesn't pick off that ball and the Dolphins score a touchdown on that drive, the game's over. The Dolphins win. I don't think the Bills have enough time to come back. I could be wrong at 21-9, end of the third quarter. I think that's going to be pretty tough for the Buffalo Bills offense to come back. No OC is good every call. I'm not saying he has to be good every call. Kyle, welcome to Billievers Talk. 13-3. We haven't had a dominating win this year. I had us going 11-5 at the beginning of the season. We don't need dominating wins. You know, if you look at the standings and you look at the point differential for the Bills, I don't think it's that high. I actually think it's like 32 points or something like that. But does point differential matter if you keep winning? If we go 15-1 or 14-2, even if we make it to the wild card, we beat the Patriots, win the Super Bowl, are you guys going to sit here and say, oh, but we squeaked them out, there was no dominating performance? No, we're going to be happy that we won the Super Bowl, and that's all that matters. Winning is all that matters. Winning can make up for a lot of bad things, and at some point we might start losing here in the future, and then those bad things might be even more apparent. But right now we're winning at a pretty good clip, 5-1, and let's just keep that going. So we'll see what happens. And Daniel, yeah, I know that no OC has to be perfect on every call or good every call. And you're not, you know what, the defense gets paid too. The defensive coordinator gets paid too. So is it bad play calling or the defense stepping up and doing their job? You always have that argument too, right? You always need to know which one it is. Is it the bad play calling by Dable, or is it the defense stepping up and doing their job too? I think Dable's had a good job. I think that play to McKenzie, again, the one where he's running across, fakes going across, the one that we've seen, the shovel pass that goes for 40 yards out of this formation, he comes back and they throw it to McKenzie, a little, again, like a 2-yard sideline pass to wide receiver pass to McKenzie that he takes inside the 5-yard line. There's plays like that, new wrinkles that I'd like to see from Dable that he's doing a good job with. But then there are plays, again, why are you running Allen the same amount of times you're running Frank Gore and Singletary in a half? That doesn't make sense. You shouldn't be doing that. You have Frank Gore and Singletary for a reason. And again, Allen needs to slide. And I know that's not on Dable, but man, does Allen need to slide. RIP Billy Conforto, yep. Dable has 9 new starters on offense. He does. And it's going to take time. I understand that, but here we are, week 7 now. And how much time are we willing to give him? Again, as Paul brought up this morning, do you realize that this Buffalo Bills offense hasn't put up more than 28 points in a game so far this season? And and we've played some pretty bad defenses, right? We've played some really bad defense. The only good defense we've played, we only put up 10 points. So take that for what it is. Again, we're still 5-1. We can take that, with a grain of salt, whatever the bad is with Dable. But at the same time, these are things that need to be worked on. I'm not saying he's the worst OC in the world. I'm gonna say maybe he is around mid-pack when it comes to OCs. And you hear Paul say that there are some places where he's hearing rumors of him being up for a head coaching job. Everyone wants to get coaches from that Bill Belichick New England coaching tree, just like the Sean McVay coaching tree. They want to get coaches from there. So maybe we look at Dable as a head coach candidate, in which case he'd be gone anyway. I also have heard that Leslie Frazier at the end of the season, he might be a top head coaching candidate because of how well he has this defense performing. So we might be looking at new coordinators soon anyway, but I think Dable does need to improve. There's always room for improvement. Josh Allen needs to improve. One of the things I want to really talk about, one of the bad things that I wish would have happened in this game, Bills still haven't played a complete game. And that's scary good and scary bad, okay? We're 6 games in, and we still haven't played a complete game from the first quarter to the fourth quarter. And that's scary good because how good can this team be? If Josh Allen could play in quarters 1 through 3 as well as he plays in quarter 4, this team might be unstoppable. If this team could put a whole game together, defense, offense looks really good, this team could be very, very scary in the future. But we haven't seen that yet. And so if we never see that, then other teams that can score points at a good clip will take advantage of that, okay? But we'll see what happens. Rookie 3rd rounder, a mid to low tier free agent, and our 3rd receiver hasn't played. Our offense has been bad. I feel like our offense has been bad pretty much. I'm not gonna say bad, but our offense can improve. That's all I'm saying. Our offense can improve. And again, Singletary played yesterday, only 7 carries. We haven't seen Singletary get a lot of carries. So when is that time? And I've talked about this, and we talked about this in the preseason. We talked about this during the start of the regular season. We were not expecting Singletary to get a lot of carries to start his NFL career. So at what time does that change? Because if that changes, then you might see less runs from Allen, and you might see more explosive plays in the run game, which means defenses do have to respect that play action just a little bit more. Why am I even doing that? I hear myself. I was on mute, so I do apologize for that. So I hope you guys weren't hearing echo. If you were hearing an echo, then I do apologize. But that was just another thing that we could bring up. I sound like WGR right now. Again, guys, thank you for joining me on Billievers Talk. If you're new to this channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Not only are we live on Mondays, we're live on Thursdays. I give my pick'em video every Wednesday, so you want to make sure to check that out. Every Wednesday, I do every single pick. I had to go against the spread straight up, and I give you my suicide pool pick of the week. It was certainly not good to score 3 field goals to start the game. Would have been nice to punch in. Yes, yeah, again, positive, negative, right? Positive. We score on the first 3 drives of the game. And see, a lot of people are blaming Allen for that. And, Knox has two crucial drops in those 3 drives. One was an iffy drop, but that one on that 3rd drive when we're at the 25-yard line going in, and he has the ball right on his hip, and he's looking downfield and he drops it. I know you guys know what play I'm talking about. He needs to catch that. He knows he needs to catch that. But man, talking about some of my bad that I had listed, Dawson Knox, and I talked about this tight end play in general. I mean, we got Tyler Kroft back yesterday for the first time. Only time we heard his name was for a 5-yard false start penalty. That's the only time we heard his name. Now, from Mario's angle, he said he had a few good blocks downfield, which is awesome. We need a good blocking tight end, and that's what he was brought in to do. But Dawson Knox needs to catch those balls. He needs to drop some penalties. Were really hurting his offense. And I'm glad Miami covered since John Conforto. I had Miami covering this game too, if you remember my picks. If those drops don't happen, we could have. Absolutely. So, the first drop came when it was 3-0 on that second drive, right? And there's a big difference between 10-0 and 6-0. If he catches that ball, the drive continues, we get into the end zone, make it 10-0, make it a 2-score game, kind of make a statement early. Even if they score a touchdown the next drive, they're still trailing. They're not ahead anymore. And then we go down, and again, that second drop, let's say we make it 17-7, we keep that distance from the Dolphins. All of a sudden, they're in a little bit more of a panic mode than we are, and then we can have our defense kind of pin their ears back a little bit more. But it doesn't happen. We scored 3 field goals. Kudos to Steven Hauschka. Hausch money beginning to earn his name back a little bit. Going 3 for 3 yesterday on those field goals. And they're crucial, right? They're crucial. They get us on the board. They keep us. Even when the Dolphins score, they can put us back ahead 9-7. Keep us in the game for the beginning as we couldn't find a way in the end zone. But again, Steven Hauschka, gotta give him credit, going 3 for 3 for field goals, 2 for 2 on the extra points. Good game by him. So really happy about that. Croft was blocking only, and he absolutely was. There was not a single pass intended for Croft. Again, the only time you hear his name is on a false start penalty. But if Croft is for blocking only, that means we need to see more out of Knox. Now, Sweeney wasn't active for this game. We had Lee Smith in there. Lee Smith had a catch for about 8 or 9 yards in this game as well. As I have the stats up, I can go through it. 9-yard catch by Lee Smith. So need to see more out of them if Croft is just going to be in for blocking. That was from Daniel Gowries. Penalties absolutely kept points off the board. Let me go to the penalties real quick, guys. I know it's a lot. And I'm not going to be happy to see this. So the Buffalo Bills had 9 penalties for 83 yards. 9 penalties for 83 yards. Now, let me tell you something. That means the second half we did pretty good with penalties, because in the first half we had over 50 yards of penalties. I know we did, because I remember going nuts about it. The Buffalo Bills lead the NFL in dead ball penalties this season. That's unacceptable. That's completely unacceptable. One of the things we talked about back when Rex Ryan was head coach, if you remember, back when Rex Ryan was head coach, we talked about having a disciplined football team. We need to get more disciplined. We thought Coach McDermott was going to come in and get this team disciplined. He did the first year, but it's digressed since then. It hasn't gotten better. It's actually gotten worse. Now, some of this you can say is because of all the new pieces, and I kind of understand that. And again, only 1 pass interference call yesterday. So out of all those penalties, out of the 8 penalties, 9 penalties, there was only 1 pass interference call. I'm happy to see that. We had two roughing the passer penalties. Now, 1 was complete garbage. I understand that. You can even argue both were complete garbage. But still, we know that they're going to call those against the quarterbacks, right? If you have no reason to touch the quarterback, don't touch the quarterback. Don't do your little chest bump. Don't do anything to them, because they're going to call it. I've seen penalties called on hits on the quarterback where the quarterback doesn't even go down anymore, okay? So they're going to call those, stay off the quarterback unless he has the ball when you're coming at him. That's the only time. And even then, just throw him down lightly, as light as you can, and then get off of him. Don't pile on top, because we've seen what happened with Clay Matthews. He'll get, we'll get penalized for that as well. Probably don't even sack Tom Brady. I'm sure that would cause a problem, but just get in his face and then put your hands up. Do what you have to do. But again, you cannot hit the quarterback when the ball's not in his hands anymore at all. So 2 of those penalties yesterday, really killer. Kept the Dolphins' drives alive sometimes with those penalties. The dead ball penalties, like I said, we lead the league in dead ball penalties. It all needs to stop. Now, you can say that's on the players, but at a certain point, that goes on to the coaching staff. You need to put that on the coaching staff. So hopefully that's something that we work on this week. Cannot afford to have that many penalties against the Eagles and expect to win that game. That's all I'm going to say. We cannot have 9 penalties for 83 yards and expect to beat the Philadelphia Eagles. It's not going to happen. So again, guys, that's something that we need to stop. But yeah, Let me get some of the comments here. Piano Wits, welcome. At least the Eagles look bad too. See you at the tailgate. Yeah, and guys, like I said, I'll let you know about the tailgate situation. Gonna be hanging out with Paul from Hashtag Sports on Saturday for a little bit. Hang out with the family, of course. And I'll let you know more about tailgate situation closer to the time. Usually because Allen misses plays. Let me see what we're talking about here. Croft is being brought into the offense slowly. He's missed a lot of practice time. Yeah, and I understand that. And again, that's just a new piece for Allen too. So it's going to take longer for them to gel together. As again, now you're talking about even more new offensive pieces. Again, 9 of the 11 offensive players are new this season to the Buffalo Bills offense. This adds to that. So it's just going to take longer for this offense to completely gel. But it does add another weapon. So hopefully we can use that to our advantage. Again, hopefully Dawson Knox can continue to catch some balls. How many years would you give who, Allen? If you're talking about Allen, I would give Allen at least another year, full year. So at the end of this year, give him a full third season. You have him for 4 years, unless you think you're going to trade him like the Cardinals did Josh Rosen. I really don't want to see that happen, because what we're seeing right now, if you ask me at this time, Josh Allen is the second best quarterback taken out of the 2018 NFL draft, only behind Lamar Jackson. And Lamar Jackson was not really considered as one of the top 10 draft picks for most of the draft process. There was a time where he was, but for most of the draft process, Jackson wasn't in the conversation with Mayfield, Rosen, Allen, and who am I forgetting? Darnold. The guy playing today, so it's easy to forget about him. But if you ask me, Allen's the second best out of those. Out of all those quarterbacks, first out of those 4 that I just mentioned, the only quarterback doing better than him so far in his career, I would say, personally, Lamar Jackson. And then you have to look at Josh Allen. Currently, more of a game manager, but at the same time, growing into a much better quarterback. Again, 5 games already this season, over 60% completion percentage. And that's after he had a terrible first half yesterday, guys. He had a terrible first half. I think it was like 6 for 12. Or no, he was less than 50% yesterday at halftime. I know that as I went over the stats. But man, yeah, Mason Rudolph. Haven't seen much of him yet, so I can't compare. I was a huge Mason Rudolph fan coming out in 2018, but I think Josh Allen just has seen the playing field more. Unfortunately, Mason Rudolph suffering that severe concussion after Ben suffered an injury, just the Steelers having a bad quarterback situation. But Allen equals Jameis Winston, but Winston gets more yards. Well, if that's true, which I'm not going to say it's true, see, Winston, even with a quarterback guru, Winston's projections keep going down, right? You're talking about 5 interceptions over in London 2 weeks ago, and that's with a quarterback guru. We don't have that type of coaching staff in Buffalo, and that's what Bruce Arians, right? Bruce Arians is known as a great quarterback coach, and he's there with Jameis Winston, and what's going down with Winston? Just constantly going down. Here, Allen is first year in the league. He gets a new quarterback coach. Now we have Ken Dorsey, and he's just going this way. So, and he hasn't thrown a 5 interception game yet. So I don't think that he is at that Jameis Winston level. And Jameis Winston had everything handed to him, right? Talking about from Florida State, had multiple scholarship offers. Josh Allen won. Josh Allen's had to fight for everything he's had. Josh Allen's going to show some people, prove some people wrong in the near future. I truly believe that. You know, it's why are you retracting your messages, man? I would love Kyle Allen, he says from Carolina. Well, Cam Newton might be on the trade block soon if Kyle Allen keeps playing that way. Double the Allens, double the pleasure, double the fun. Talking some more about the Buffalo Bills win yesterday. Something else that I did want to bring up that I feel like not a lot of people are talking about, and I want to get everyone's opinion on it. John Brown, proving to be possibly a legit number 1 receiver in the NFL. You look at his stats yesterday, guys. Give me 1 second here. We all know he had that touchdown, but let's look at his stats from yesterday as I refresh my stats page, because of course it went out on me. So let me see if I can pull up the stats here. Cole Beasley getting his first touchdown as well. Wide receivers playing a big part in the win for the Buffalo Bills yesterday, as the New England Patriots are up 33-0 on the New York, New Jersey Jets. So update you there. But you look at the stats for John Brown yesterday, talking about 5 catches for 83 yards and a touchdown. You look on Twitter and Cover One had a post saying what that means for John Brown, talking about over 1,200 receiving yards he is projected to get this season. Brown was a great signing, absolutely. Brown and Beasley both were. I know Beasley didn't do too much yesterday, had his first touchdown, but other than that, you're talking about three catches, 16 yards, and a touchdown. Not what you want to see out of your number two. But again, the Miami defense did some good things to confuse the Buffalo offense at times. The penalties in this game from the Bills' standpoint and some drops by Knox and others made it a little bit tougher for Allen to get into rhythm. But he finds his rhythm in the second half, hits them both with touchdown passes. I think John Brown could be a legit number one wide receiver. You look at his stats. He's getting ready to, on average right now, he's projected to get over 80 catches, get over 1,200 yards, and get, I think they said 5 or 6 touchdowns. And as they said, like, see that touchdown number go up. But those are number one wide receiver numbers. I mean, over 80 catches, especially for the Buffalo Bills, a team that hasn't seen production like that in a while. That would be pretty good to see if the Buffalo Bills can do that. First Bills wide receiver to have over 50 yards in his first 6 games since Lee Evans. There you go. That goes to prove my point there. That's really sad, actually, by Kyle. Maybe, but again, you know, we talk about these sad stats. Allen, the first guy to get 8 games over 200 yards in a row since Jim Kelly. Was it sad? Yes, but it has to happen, right? These stats have to happen in order for this Buffalo Bills team to continue to change the culture, change the expectations around the league, and from our fan base. Again, there were a lot of fans yesterday at the first half of that game. I know because I was listening to a lot of them on my live stream talking about how this was the same old Bills team, how this team stinks, how we're going to lose to the Dolphins, not giving us a chance to come back. And we do. We come back and win that game. Show a little resolve. Again, we don't need to show resolve in every game. Would like to win a couple games by double-digit points. But again, winning in the NFL is not easy to do at any means. So getting these wins, getting the wins that we're supposed to get, as some people have been saying, will get us into the playoffs. And then anything can happen in the playoffs. This team will continue to grow, continue to improve, and we'll see what happens come November, December, and hopefully into January. Anthony John, welcome to Billievers Talk. Ridiculous to want anyone but Josh. If he calls his own plays, we will smash everyone. He is a winner. Excuse me. You know, in the fourth quarter of these games, they seem to be more relying on Dable's play calling than Josh Allen's play calling. We see Josh Allen progress in the fourth quarter, at least his stats progressing in the fourth quarter. So I'm not sure if we want Josh Allen calling his own plays, but at the same time, we do need to start, and by we, I mean the coaching staff, need to start trusting Josh Allen more and more and more to be able to take those checkdowns, to be able to read things. You know, we did see Cover One actually posted this on Twitter. There was a play where Josh Allen checked down the line. He saw a blitz coming, and he moved the offensive line in position and the running back Singletary into position to make the block and give him time to complete that pass to Duke Williams. So I believe that was actually in the third quarter, that Duke Williams, nice touch pass, the one that Duke got hurt on. So he reads the blitz that's coming. He adjusts the line for the protection, and he makes the throw to Duke Williams. So we see plays like that. We see continued growth in Josh Allen. Good things. Signs of good things to come. Again, guys, thank you for joining me on Billievers Talk. If you're new, hit that subscribe button, like this video, and again, share this video with everyone else as well. Let them know we're here talking about this game. Won't be on here for too much longer. Again, sorry I was late today. Was not able to get in here during halftime of Monday Night Football, but just happy to get here and talk about some Buffalo Bills football. Again, thanks again for joining me. If he wasn't injured, we would have definitely beat New England. If his fourth quarter projection would stay where it was at, absolutely, Anthony John. I mean, there's no saying what would happen, but if his fourth quarter, if anything from the fourth quarter so far this season have proven is that Josh Allen just always improves in the fourth quarter, definitely would have given us more of a shot. Barkley did not play better, despite what Kyle says, than Josh Allen. Josh Allen has over 115 QBR in the fourth quarter, so you have to take that any chance you can. I wouldn't take none of them bums, says Anthony John. Look better than Darnold today, says Piano Wiz. Again, you have to. I didn't see the stats for Darnold, but you have to remember that game against New England. Josh Allen didn't look great, right? 3 interceptions. So let's not get too carried away. NFL isn't a very easy play because teams are also very good. Georgetta Black comes in and says again, like I said, it's not easy to get wins in the NFL. Even if you talk about the Miami Dolphins being, even if you talk about Fitzpatrick being the 32nd quarterback in the league, he's still the 32nd best quarterback in the world, right? That's how I always look at it. Even if you have a bunch of 32nds playing hard, they're going to be competitive because they're the 32nd best, whatever position you put in there, in the world, and they're going to play hard. They're going to play with passion. Even if the GM and the owner wants to tank, that doesn't mean that the players want to. The players are going to try their best. The players are going to try their hardest because they know if they're not on the Dolphins next season, this is their resume. This is the tape they can show teams and say, see, even though there was nothing around me, I played the best I could. I played the hardest I could, and these were the results you got from me as individuals. So they're not tanking on the field. They're tanking up in the GM box. That's where they're tanking at, in the owner's box. And the players are still playing the best. The coaches are still coaching to the best of their abilities. And this sometimes is what happens, and that's okay as long as we come out with this victory. And we do. Buffalo Bills again, 5-1. The Bills being 5-1 is awesome any way you cut it. Absolutely. In the beginning of the season, if I would said, hey, the Bills are starting the season 5-1, and we're going to be pretty healthy coming into week 7 against the Eagles, you all would have taken it. You don't care if we won all the games at 1 point, even though, again, have to get your heart medications refilled every once in a while. But even if we won every game by 1 point, you would have said, hey, we're 5-1. Doesn't matter. Oh, Bills, y'all. Same team. Go Bills, y'all. Yeah, go Bills. That's all that matters right now. We're talking about Bills. Anthony John, Bills fans, absolutely coming from the guy who just said Mahomes and Rodgers are bummed. I didn't say that. GM ownership management can tank, but the players want to win. Absolutely. You're absolutely right, Daniel. And unable to get it done because our Buffalo Bills able to pull it out. Realistic Bills fan, just because they wear the jersey doesn't mean they're good. I don't know why you guys are fighting. Again, I don't know why you guys are fighting. We're 5-1. Let's be happy. Let's be happy we're 5-1. Josh Allen is what is it, 9-7 as a starter in the NFL. He has a winning record. They're 10-7 now. This is his 17th start, and he's 10-7 now as a starter in the NFL. Has a winning record. In That's not something you can say about every quarterback after 17 games in their professional career. So again, just things to look forward to. I'm not saying Josh Allen's perfect right now, but he's moving in the right direction. Again, only 2 games last season did he complete more than 60% of his passes. He's already done that 5 times this season, and the Bills are 7-0 in games that he's completed 60% or more of his passes downfield. Even as a game this season where he completed over 70% of his passes, and I know he's still making some dumb mistakes, but he limited those yesterday. No turnovers, no. There was one bad sack. There was one bad sack right before the end of the first half. There was one bad sack I did not like. Time management still seems to be an issue for the Buffalo Bills. Going back to the end of the first half, you have 2 timeouts remaining. The defense is holding their own against the Miami Dolphins. Actually have them in a 3rd and long situation. The Miami Dolphins run the play clock down 40 seconds before they call a timeout, and then you stop them on 3rd down. You don't call a timeout. That's a minute 20 you took off the clock, leaving your offense with a little over a minute to go down the field, unable to do so because they haven't done that all season. Why would we expect them to do it now? I didn't like the clock management towards the end of the first half. That's definitely something I want to get into with you guys as well. If you go back to that first half towards the end, down 14-9. We know the Dolphins are getting the ball to start the second half. We need to try to score on these drives. We need to try to score there with 2 timeouts, and we just don't use the 2 timeouts. At the end of the half, guess what? Both timeouts still in our pocket. Could have saved 80 seconds, a minute and 20. Imagine the difference between a minute plus and 2.5 minutes to go down and score on that last drive before the end of the half. I was very disappointed with that. Again, a lack of aggression shown by this coaching staff. It's happened at certain times this season. Talking about the Bengals game, the Giants game, I believe we saw it there, and now this one as well. I want to see more aggression from this coaching staff. Again, when you're on top of a bad team, you want to put the pedal to the metal. You want to put your foot on their throat and just make sure they know they don't have a chance to win this game. And when you're in a tough dogfight, when you're going against a tough team, or you find yourself like yesterday not playing up to your potential, you need to score points when you can. And that was a place where we could have at least tried to get in a field goal range, score another field goal. Big difference between going down at half 14-9 and going into the locker room down 14-12. Just a bit of a difference there. Again, it doesn't come back to bite us because we win this game. Most important stat is the W, and that's the most important thing. I don't know what Kyle's talking about right now, but game management is an area McD needs to improve on big time. Yeah, now we don't see any bad challenges yesterday, so that's a good thing. But again, we leave two timeouts in our pocket to end the first half, and a chance when we had a chance to score points. No matter what anyone's going to say, you rewatch that game, you see 80 seconds go off the board that we could have used to score points. Even if you don't call a timeout on third down, if you only call it on fourth down, that's still 40 seconds. That's still almost 2 minutes of time left for Josh Allen compared to a minute plus that he had out there. So again, just things we need to work on. But again, it's easier to talk about things you need to work on during wins than it is during losses. Not saying we're not going to lose again this season, guys. It's going to be an up and down season for sure. Just happy to be in an up right now. And again, this team still 5-1. You still got another game against the Dolphins, very winnable. You got a game against the Redskins, very winnable. You got a game against the Browns, very winnable. Got a game against the Broncos at home, very winnable. Game against the Jets, very winnable, right? So a lot of winnable games coming up on the schedule. We'll see what happens. But again, it's 11 o'clock here on the East Coast. I think we could beat the Pats. I hope so. I hope you're right, especially at Gillette Stadium Week 16. I look forward to it because I'll be bringing you that game again. #sports, Believers Talk, bringing you live play-by-play and reaction to every single Buffalo Bills game. Again, if you haven't checked out Sportscaster yet, something special coming up for you guys this Sunday, so make sure you check out Sportscaster as well. Hit that like button, and again, subscribe to this channel. Believers Talk not only teaming up with #sports, Believers Talk also teaming up with BewareTheStampede.com. Go to BewareTheStampede.com for all of your Buffalo Bills information, roster news, salary cap information, stadium information, a list of all the Buffalo Bills Hall of Famers and their resumes, and much more on that one spot. And you'll find my videos on there as well. So go to BewareTheStampede.com for your one-stop shop for all Buffalo Bills news. Guys, I look forward to talking to y'all soon. I'll see you Wednesday for my Pick'em video. If there's any breaking news, you know where to find it right here. So again, hit that subscribe button, like this video, and if you haven't already, guys, if you're watching this on the retake and not live, leave a comment, and I'll be happy to get back to you too. I look forward to talking to y'all soon.